America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
There is 3 bottlenecks that you're going to encounter, and we want to tell you how to overcome them. Kevin, what's the number one thing we need to start this podcast with so that we can give some really good education?
It's self-belief. That's uncomfortable for some people. They don't want to say, well, I don't have the belief I can do it, but it's the truth. If I look at my own career, you have to have the belief that you can do it before you can actually do it. If you don't believe you can build a business that, let's just say, that nets $500,000, you're never going to build it. You have to believe it before you do it. And the way you do that is by taking action, massive action. Boom. Think of anything in life. If you want to do it, if you want it to work, you have to start doing it. You can't just read books on it, listen to some podcasts on it, talk about it to your girlfriend. Yeah, I might start a business, man. You got to go out and do it. And that gives a self-confidence that you start knowing, just like we use the gym as an analogy. If you go to the gym every day for 60 days, you know to yourself, oh yeah, I do this.
Yes.
But if you're just reading workouts and reading a magazine, like, yeah, I might try something Schwarzenegger used to do. Like, you don't really believe you're going to look like great. You have to do it first, and you get that self-belief. Another way that Chris and I have done it, and this is how I got to netting over $1 million. It's borrowed belief, because I didn't know anybody who did that. And it sounded crazy to me. And when I started to meet people that didn't think, one person in particular, he was making over $6 million a year. He was a mentor of mine. He thought $1 million was shit. He didn't say that, but I could feel it off him. He's a really cocky guy. He's super smart guy, but he comes off. And then I was like, yeah, $1 million isn't much. You start to think like that. You have to get borrowed belief from other people. You see them doing, and what do you think? He's not smarter than me. He's not doing anything. You just see these little tweaks. When you don't have that, you want to think, oh, they were given it, or they had some opportunity or some other nonsense. And really what it is they just do 20% of things differently than you do. And when you start copying those things, your life skyrockets.
The borrow belief is such a massive hack. And it really does, Kevin. I mean, you're right. It boils down to those two things: take action and borrow someone else's belief. I mean, I've literally felt more confident and believed in myself more when I had not only seen someone else do it, but literally speak into my life and say, oh yeah, you could do that. You can do this. Like, you guys should be taking what me and Kevin are saying. Anybody can go buy this business. Anybody can go and operate this business. Anybody can get a seller financing on a business. Like, it just takes getting exposed to the right knowledge to be able to operate it well. You don't have to be the rocket scientist. You don't have to be anything like that. And that was just a whole nother level of borrowed belief that I picked up and I still pick it up at times, man. I mean, when I get around these really big thinkers, these massive action takers, and they look at me and they say, oh man, you can do this. This is what you need to do. And then instantly I'm like, I can. Like, I absolutely can do this. Fear holds us back so much. And the only thing that I've ever seen is what you said, action. Action allowed me, as soon as I do it, because that confidence builder. And it's not saying I'm going to go buy a company and I go and buy the company taking that action. It's I start making the phone calls. And then I start building up some confidence because now I'm getting used to it. I'm not scared of talking to the sellers anymore because I'm getting that repetition. I'm getting those reps in. And it's amazing how much action will do for your self-belief. But the borrowed belief, that is the true hack.
Yeah. The combination is so powerful because you can take action and that's going to get you going and you can keep learning and you can go. But the borrowed belief really speeds you up. I really didn't even know about that till later in life. I mean, I really wanted to own hundreds of units of apartment buildings. And I had owned, the biggest one I owned was 16 units, and I was managing it myself. And this is back in the early 2000s, and it was a headache. And I thought, I don't want to be managing 50 of these. So I started following people who own 1,000 of them. That's
Yeah.
the key. If you want to own 100 units, hang out with people who own 1,000. You want to make $500,000 a year? Hang out with people who, if they made $500,000 a year, they'd be banging their head against the wall. I I mean, I
That's
don't want to
it,
say,
man.
there's a number in your head that you don't even want to say, that if you made that someone else would be like jumping for joy, and you would be, yeah, 500,000. I'll be in a panic. And it's not because you're losing money. It's because you're going backwards.
That's it, man. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Once you know you're able to do it, you just can't be satisfied. You can't be satisfied with having less, because you realize you're not hitting your potential. You've done something wrong to digress, if that's the case. All right, so 3 bottlenecks. We went over self-belief. I think that is the absolute number one. That's why you led with it, because if you don't have your mind right, you might as well flush the rest down the toilet. You better get that right first. People, man, I have heard so much bitching and moaning and groaning since COVID hit, talking about the labor market. This has always been a bottleneck that's been communicated, because you're dealing with people, and people are difficult to deal with. That is going to be the number one bottleneck your whole entrepreneurial life. Even if you don't own the business, if you manage or lead someone, it's going to be a headache. So we sat down and we tried to figure out, what are the things that helps us get past this bottleneck? Well, first of all, you need to get clarity on what this team member looks like. Like, what are their characteristics? Literally go up to a whiteboard, go sit down at your desk on a notepad and write down, if I had the perfect team member, what do they look like? What do they smell like? How do they act? What skill sets do they have? Like, literally draw this thing out where you could hand a list of words and adjectives and characteristics to an artist, and they would be able to draw this avatar out for you. You need to get that specific. Now that you've gotten clarity on what this perfect team member looks like, now you know how to identify it in the marketplace. So you're always going to be recruiting. Like, as you're in the marketplace talking to people and they ask how things are going, you're literally going to say fantastic. I don't care if they're trash or not. You're going to say fantastic. We are growing, and we're always looking for more good team members. If I know somebody looking for a job, you just jogged my memory to communicate, oh, I know somebody that's looking for a job. Let me connect them with you. This is, you're not going to get it if you don't ask for it. So not only that, what about these people that give you great service when you're in the marketplace? Pull up to the oil change service, and this guy's super, or gal is super personable. They're telling you everything that's available. They're talking to you. They're moving you through the sales process so that they not only get the oil change, but they also are selling you the wiper blades and the cabin filter. Or when you're at the restaurant and they're just on point. They don't even write down your order on a notepad. Everything comes out perfect. They check on you. Your glass is never empty. These are individuals you should be recruiting. If they fit your team avatar, why are you not asking them if they're interested in a career change? Why are you not asking them if they're 100% satisfied where they're at? Like, you should instantly be grabbing their name and number and saying, listen, when you get off work, what time do you get off work? I want to reach out to you because I got a career opportunity that I think will change your life, an opportunity that you're not going to hit a ceiling at, something that you can grow and expand with a growing company. When would you have time so that I can give you a call? I would love that opportunity. It's always be recruiting.
I 100% agree. You know, one huge mistake I made, huge, is I used to hire off skill set or perceived skill set and not attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I changed that and everything changed. So for my guys, I thought, well, you need this experience with roofs and ladders. You got to be good on roofs. And guys are like, oh, I've been doing roofs for 20 years. So I'd be like, yes, come tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? They bring all their baggage with them. And
the
later on, I started hiring people who had great attitudes. This is not rocket science, putting a ladder up and going up and cleaning gutters or whatever you're doing. And those guys had so many attributes. You cannot teach a good, positive attitude, a motivated person, but you can teach that person to do the skills. If they're that person, they will learn those skills. But you cannot take a person that has a perceived skill set with a bad attitude. You can never make them a good employee.
100%, man.
And the best way to find that out is to look at their history. People tell people who they are. They might not have told you, but they told their ex-employers. All you have to do is look at their history. I remember when I would say to some guy, and the guy would be 42, and he wanted to come out and clean gutters, and he said, I got 25 years of roofing experience, and I thought, and you're on Craigslist,
Yeah,
he's telling you everything you need to know.
absolutely.
He would already be doing it. So
that history repeats itself. I mean, you really look at their track record. I mean, it's very, very rare when someone breaks habits, because habits are very hard to break. And once they get in, this is why you look at a resume. This is why you call references. And more importantly, this is why it is so awesome to find someone in their element that already has that attitude, that's performing very well, because if they perform like that, then they're probably going to perform the same way when they come over to your company. Every time I've tried to take a chance on someone and thought that they were going to change their habits, it always failed. They might have done good for just a little while, but they find their way back to that same environment, and they end up going into the same habits that just kept them from growing in life, that kept them from achieving what they wanted to achieve. So look at the track record and judge it by that. There's no reason that you should be the company that has to take that chance and gamble on someone. We want them all to change. We want them all to do better, but don't go into it expecting that they're going to change, because history does repeat itself very, very often.
100%. And why do we hire kind of people we don't want? It's because we weren't recruiting. Then we get somebody leaves, we get a big job, and we just start hiring warm bodies. But had you been spending time every week, set aside time, just like you do for sales or anything else, you have to set time aside to recruit. If you do that, you're going to have a larger pool. And then you have to have a system that you can bring them in and you can take the time. You got to be relaxed. I used to just bring guys out and I want them to be doing stuff in 10 minutes. That's how I did a long time ago. Then I thought, I'm going to take my time, and I would put somebody good on them or myself. And I'd say, hey, you're going to shadow me all day. I would know everything I needed to know about that guy's attitude. Basically, are they looking at me, or are they looking at the phone and everything? And then if I like them, I say, come back. I'm going to make you an offer for the rest of the week. I'm going to try you out. And you have to give them the opportunity to learn and do stuff. If you just throw people to the wolves, they're not going to do well. They're going to get frustrated. So you have to have an environment that they say, oh, okay, this guy cares and he wants me to succeed. Because A players want that.
Your onboarding process is massive. So I think you might have already mentioned it. I mean, you need to have a culture that these people want to come to. If you're trying to attract A players, but you got a C culture, you're trying to pay the least, you don't provide nice uniforms and working equipment, you treat them like they're disposable and they're not assets. And your team is your biggest asset. This is why it's so important. But unfortunately, for some reason, we only look at our leads coming into the company as the most important thing. And this is on the back burner, the staff. The staffing portion is what we think about very last. And then we put ourselves in that situation where we just start hiring warm bodies, because now we've got to fill a position. We come across needy instead of filling the pipeline. You should fill the pipeline in the leads. You should fill the pipeline in your recruiting. When you have those two things dialed in, holy shit, you're going to have an amazing company that is unstoppable, because those two things right there are one of the biggest obstacles for every company.
And I think maybe the number one thing is, what has this person been doing for the last 6 months? I don't think, I don't think, I know. I've never had a good employee who had a bad 6 months before me that turned out to be a good employee. So don't hire your cousin's boyfriend who's playing video games and has been out of work since December. That person's
Something's
not going to
wrong,
help
man.
you. He will not help you.
I've
You
done
want
it.
somebody who people transition jobs, things happen, they switch. That's okay. Every person I had was already doing something when I hired them.
Every person that I've ever hired that didn't currently have a job, and I'm not saying left the job the day before because of something, crazy and then came and knocked on my door for a job. I'm talking about was without a job for more than a week, has never worked out. And I've done it
Ooh,
probably 5 or 6 different times. A couple of them showed up like rock stars. 30, 60 days later, I was like, "Yep, this is why you was sitting on the couch for so long.
yeah,
You showed me your dating face. The honeymoon phase is over, and now I really see the true colors." But the ones
absolutely.
that currently had a job and said, "Hey, I need to put my 2 weeks notice in," they're just trying to level up. I have the best. They're always going to be your best hires.
Always. I like when somebody gives 2 weeks notice. I had somebody who came over a long time ago. He insisted on giving his notice and everything. I respected that. I thought he'll give me
Absolutely.
notice then. Other people don't give notice. They probably don't even send a text.
They're going to treat you the way they
They're going to
treated their
treat you the
prior
same way. And
boss. Yep. So tell me this. All right, number 3, jobs. What about that,
jobs,
Kevin?
getting jobs. It's a bottleneck for a lot of people. You got to create revenue. You got to have a stream of jobs coming in. You got to know that you're going to be busy week after week, month after month. Otherwise, that's going to create all kinds of stress. There's so many ways to do it. Chris, what are some ways that you like to do it?
So, I mean, my biggest company, that business model is built off of referral and affiliate marketing. So, we want to find folks out there that are fans of us and they know our customers and they're telling them about us when they have a need for our service.
Well,
Then that's the referral side. Then we go and target the people that are in contact with our customers, other business professionals that are in contact with our customers the moment they need us, and we pay them. That's what's the difference between a referral and affiliate. That's our most effective way for our current business. Search engine optimization. Dude, we're in a digital world, and if you are not digitally able to be found digitally, then you're losing it. You're losing the game. You at bare minimum need a landing page and have your business listed on the directories so that you can start and on Google Places. Get you a Google Places listing. Then people can go on there and give you reviews. And then your reviews will help you move up on the first page organically on when someone searches on Google. That by itself would be massive. You don't even have to have the landing page. You can literally do a Google Places and then start asking people for reviews. Anybody with a Gmail email, you can ask them for a review when you get done with the service. And in 6 months, you'll see yourself starting to pop up the list on the first page.
you got to figure out what kind of clients you want. Who are they? What's your avatar? And then contact them, call them. And you got to set it up that you have time set aside every day to do it. People used to ask me all the time, man, how do you get all these complexes? They want to know it's like Facebook ads or some weird thing. Hey, man, how did you get all these complexes? I say, you ready? Get your notebook ready. I'm going to tell you. And I say, I call them. That's it. They're like, no, no, no. What do you? No, I just call them. And I say, can I bid on your gutters?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Kevin with the Gutter Kings. We do gutter cleaning for apartment complexes. Can I help you? But I don't do it once. I did it
Oh,
hundreds and
oh,
hundreds of
oh.
times. You will get so much work, but can you do that day after day after day? When you start getting filled up, if you then say, well, I'm going to stop doing that because now I got to get the jobs done, it'll die out. You have to be consistent doing it. It doesn't have to be you. You could have somebody else. You could hire a VA. You could hire a salesman. You have to be constantly. So it's emailing, it's texting, it's calling. It's social media. You have to tell people who need your service what you do, and it has to be constant. It doesn't have to be all this fancy stuff. You can just call them.
That's it.
That's easy. But you got to do it a lot, and you will get a lot of work because you know what? Other people won't do that.
So cold calling, you just mentioned social media. Are you talking, so many people sit and digest hours on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
YouTube. So my question is, this is a free platform. You say, well, Chris, Kevin, I don't have any marketing money to hire a sales guy to do search engine optimization. I don't know about that. I'm illiterate when it comes to digital stuff. I bet you got a Facebook or an Instagram account. Why are you not on there and talking about the services that you do, showing video and pictures of you doing the service, like educating? This is the best way for people to know that you are legit and they can trust you when you're telling others how you do your business. You sit there and tell them, this is how we clean a gutter. In my case, I would sit there and say, hey, here's how we're cleaning this carpet. Here's how we're drying this building out after the water loss. I am talking not to my competition. My competition's probably not watching this. My customers, my potential referral partners, affiliate partners, and potential customers are watching this because they're finding it fascinating. And social media is the very number one to bring leads in. If you're not doing it, you're missing the boat. It's free. There's no excuse. Networking. Everybody has a networking complex. Nobody feels comfortable, so get over that. The best thing you can do is go and find these other business professionals meetups, and you go and you put yourself in a room and you start meeting people. And you get past your insecurity and you walk up and you say, hi, I'm Chris Garrison. And then you pause and you let them say their name because that's exactly what's going to happen. And then you say, what do you do? And you let them start talking about themselves. And they're going to reciprocate the action and they're going to ask you, what do you do? So recap, Kevin, because we're running on 22 minutes and I just realized that. Self-belief. How do you get past that? You're going to take action and you're going to borrow belief by getting around people that are doing bigger things than you. People. How do you get past that bottleneck? You're going to clarify what you're looking for, and then you're going to always be recruiting by telling everybody you're looking for good team members and looking for the superstars that are servicing you when you're out in the marketplace. The third thing is going to be jobs. Referral marketing, affiliate marketing, search engine optimization, social media, networking, bandit signs, cold calling, cold texting, pay-per-click ads on Google. So many different ways.
Knocking on 3 doors on each side of every customer and asking if you can help them.
Yep. That's
Being
it.
an expert, bringing value. If you're on social media, show videos and then tell people why you're doing it. If you're a tree guy, tell them why you're cutting it like that so it doesn't hit the house. It's interesting to watch. It's visual. And then people start to say, yeah, this guy's not going to hit my house with my tree. I think I'll call him.
I love it.
As opposed to putting a bulletin, let me cut your trees down, looking for work. No, don't do that.
People buy from who they know, like, and trust. And if you ain't talking to people, you're not going to give them a chance. All right, check out the free Facebook group, Blue Collar Millionaire. Every Tuesday, we're interviewing superstars, and you're going to learn from it. It's free content. If you want to get more dedicated to buying a business and learning how to scale your current business or the one that you bought, check out the War Room. Go to bluecollarmillionaire.net and do the sign-up form. We'll reach out, interview you, make sure it's a good fit, make sure it's going to be beneficial for you, and you can get plugged in that way. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to overcome your blue-collar limitations.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.